No, so technically a Donisen doesn't have to live off of money, just so long as they live off of whatever, which is given freely in thanks. That they give stuff freely to the community. And if community likes it, and if community happens to have some extra cash or some extra time or some extra energy, some extra anything lying around, say, hey, we'll give you this. And there's no deal to be made. And there's no coercion any which way. There's no rules. There's no, okay, you get this if you give me that. You know. No. Just giving. Which via the internet you can do very easily. Just giving. And hoping that someone gives you something back. Trusting that someone gives you something back. There's a program called Spybot Search and Destroy. It gets rid of spyware and stuff on your computer. And the guy that made that, maintains it, asks for donations. You don't get anything special out of the donation. You don't get, the better version of the program or something. No. You just get, thanks. People giving freely. And this guy lives off of it. He's a Donisen. Unless something changed recently. I don't know how popular Spybot is these days. But, there's the concept of actually receiving enough money to pay your bills. That's an interesting concept. Without any coercion, any which way apart. There are a couple other examples on the internet of someone who's made something interesting and then lives, off donations, The question is, could the entire economy work off of that? Imagine if every program were put out for free. I'm not saying I'm expecting this to happen very soon, I don't know, but this is just a concept. Put out for free, and if someone likes it, someone benefits of it, they give something back to you. So there's no scamming at all. If you get this program turns out to be crap, you just don't give back to the guy. He's got no motivation to scam now. If everyone's working on this notion, then everyone's got a motivation to do, a good work. It's interesting. There's no risk, really. I have to pay for this, and is it worth it? Well, I find out, and then I decide what it's worth. It's interesting. Imagine if every song were just put out there. Just record songs, just send it out, and see if people like it, and if they do, maybe they'll support you. Imagine people being interconnected enough to support each other. Being aware enough. This is another things that can happen via the internet. Oh, wow, hey, so-and-so's made something cool. And so-and-so also we found out, needs more money. Let's give them money. Or whatever. It also avoids the concept of the burden of wealth almost. The notion of the rich keep getting richer. To the point where they don't actually need the money anymore. But they keep getting it because they keep selling stuff. Imagine if everyone was Donisen. And, we're all aware of each other and such. Okay, so-and-so's did something cool and they got this money, and you would get as much as you need, basically, as much as, community decides that you need. And at that point, people kind of stop giving donations, or at least donations to you directly. They think, okay, you got what you need. But, if you ever needed help, if you ever, have an illness, you ever have some particular emergency, there's this pool of people out there who are grateful to you for what you've done for them, for how you've helped them, and they're willing to give whatever is required. Imagine this being entirely free. I'm not talking about any sort of government-regulated thing. I can hardly think the government can step in and say, okay, everyone just donate to each other. No, particularly in material things. This is all very hard to implement in the real world, where things are not easily replicated and transmitted and so forth. It'd be harder for me to, make, TVs or something, and then hope that people want them and give them back, because I have to manufacture those TVs, And so I kind of need a return on my investment. I make sure that for every one I manufacture, I can sell it for a given price. I can run some numbers. But if you do something creatively, if you make a song, make a video, put it out over the internet, that takes you, however much effort it took you to make that thing. But then the replicating of it does not, you don't incur any significant penalty for popularity that way. you see. And you don't incur any specific penalty for obscurity, which is the other problem. If you set up your factory to make TVs and stuff, and then, you know, people don't like them or something, or people aren't donating back to you enough, you know, if you happen to give them away, which would be kind of cool, and then you're out of luck. You know, that money you spent at the factory, oh crap, what are we going to do? The internet takes away so many of these costs, so that you can basically just say, I make this thing, I put it out there, if it's unpopular, okay, you know, hopefully it was worth enough to me to make it. Particularly the notion of mashing stuff up, that people might, you have a song and maybe it doesn't do all that well by itself, but someone else uses it, like in a movie they made, and they credit you, and then, you know, they give you a part of the thing, and you make some program, and it wasn't very good, but a, you know, little chunk of it, this one sub-function was interesting, and someone took that, and then they gave you credit, and then they, you know, the free flow of information is basically critical, I think, for a donation economy, pretty much. It's unpopular, you don't have a factory you have to pay for, and debts thereof. Not generally, I hope not. And if it is popular, you don't have to, like, you know, ramp up production, or anticipate these things, or run a whole business, you know, and analyzing. No, just put the thing. People like it, great. And then they'll give you stuff. Whatever stuff you deserve/need. I like the notion of a collective community deciding on this. I really love the freedom of being able to make whatever, putting it out to whoever for free, and then getting whatever, you know, people think it's worth. Which, you know, people can make bad decisions about what something's worth. It's quite possible. But imagine if we start accumulating enough global consciousness to start catching on to these things. I think I made that good program, you know, and now lives off the donations. That is really interesting. The donation economy. To be a Donisen, which, as I've said before, is actually one of my dreams. If I can manage to put stuff out there like these videos, maybe, and other random projects that I work on, perhaps not quite as often as I should. Nevertheless, working on other random projects. I can have all that stuff. If I could put it out there, and if I got that response, then I would know, beyond all too much doubt, that it really meant something to someone. And that there was mutual benefit. You know, that I didn't scam them out, overcharge them, or undercharge them, or anything. No. It's this free and fluid thing. That we all benefit from each other in this very, very new sort of paradigm, I think. That's the concept. Don't know how long it may take for certain things to happen, but to some small degree, it already exists. And I really like it. Thanks for watching. See you later.